And you're welcome back to The Pulse. Now, we all know that we're back from the Easter festivities. The National Road Safety Authority's vision of achieving an incident-free celebration did materialize. However, there were a few incidents that were recorded. The Accident Victim Support Ghana Foundation, championing an incident-free celebration, has noticed that there will be a need to scale up support for non-governmental agencies to support state agencies in that regard. Joining me now is Reverend Cyril Benedict Crabbe. He's with the Accident Victim Support Ghana. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
So, well, we're back from the Easter festivities, but you want government to go a step further, the Road Safety Authority to go a step further in supporting non-governmental organizations as well, so they can also champion road safety initiatives.
Exactly.
First off, let's start off from the point of Easter itself. What was your impression about the strategy adopted by the National Road Safety Authority and how they went about educating people on the need to ensure safety on our roads during the festivities?
All right, thank you very much, and a quick good afternoon or good evening to your cherished viewers, and thank you for hosting me once again.
Right.
Indeed, the National Road Safety Authority did extremely well by implementing their feasibility on the roads together or in partnership with the police, DVLA, Ministry of Transport, and all other relevant stakeholders. And I think this time, because of the heavy presence of the stakeholders, I mean, police and then the National Road Safety, it has reduced compared to last year. The only thing we need to do, I believe that if the National Road Safety Authority is being supported to have more resource people on the road to check, because you know drivers during the Easter festivities, especially I was in Kumasi, and I trekked through that road, and whilst coming back on Monday, I saw a lot of accidents, which was as a result of reckless driving, drink driving, and probably, let me say, fatigue driving, because most of them returning from the trip, you know, on Monday, were tired. Right. Some of them were still enjoying because they think it's a holiday, and some of them were a little bit, you know, intoxicated with alcohol and some other drugs that make them to feel dizzy on the road.
The Road Safety Authority at the time told us that they were targeting hot spots.
Sure.
That's what they told us.
Yes.
Did that work?
Yes, it did, because I think crashes were reduced this time around at Chichamante, Esoboy, Chichere, Suhum, and then Dadieso. Going forward on that same stretch, I think Enyinem as well. These are spots on the road that usually we have accident. A place like Joaso, you know, last year we had a policeman who went up and then was killed. We have other students who also died at that particular place, Joaso. This year we didn't have any accident at Joaso. So on the stretch, I would say that that place this year, road crashes were minimized, but there were a lot of indiscipline and then bad driver behavior on the road, because they know very well, they knew that there were police presence there. In fact, I was part of the police that were directing some of the traffic there so that there will be free flow of traffic. But there are, you know, one or two incidents that, like I said, is as a result of their indiscipline or maybe not adhering to the road regulations that were put in place. But basically, if you ask me to evaluate the work of the National Road Safety, as well as in partnership with the police and the stakeholders this year round on Kwewu, the accident was reduced.
There was this initiative that was rolled out, launched at the VIP terminal, which many feel, some expect even say, well, let's proceed with it. It's the driver spokesperson initiative, where the police service indicated that, well, we need to get a passenger on board all the time to report the driver if he's becoming indisciplined on the road. It appears that's just for the Easter. Do you feel that we should extend such initiatives going forward?
Road safety is a shared and collective responsibility, and you don't have to wait for you to be told, because we are all vulnerable on the road. We cannot stop completely road crashes. So then what we need to do is to get passengers who are the driver's driver to speak up, to be part of the preventative implementations, so that we will not have these accidents at all. There is no passenger. In fact, passengers have been part of these reckless driving or the accident that has been occurring, because most of the passengers think that, no, it is not their business. But you are in the bus or you are in a car. If the driver is driving reckless, mind you, your life is at risk. And so until you talk, you are going to die. And so passengers need to be empowered more. We are living in a country where passengers think that driver will insult them. We are all diplomatic when it comes to boarding somebody's car. But mind you that your life, matters in that particular car until you are out of that social contract. If not, you are going to die. And I don't think anybody signed a social contract to go and die at the end of the day. So it empowers, it borders on the passenger to be part of the safety advocacy in or outside the car. Pedestrians do need to be, empowered as well. You should know the reason why you are walking by the road. And the way the road has been demarcated, it has been done in such a way that pedestrians will have their safety as well. There's a place you need to walk, the pavement that you need to pass, the overpass, the bridges that are there. But you see pedestrians crossing the road at a very dangerous, point. And so the campaign that they did, apart from the social media number, the 194
right,
that they put out there for people to record and also people to report any recklessness or indiscipline on our roads. Passenger empowerment is very, very crucial. Very, very crucial. And all passengers need to know that.
And I like the terminology you use, the driver's driver.
Yes, the driver's driver. Because if my driver is sleeping and I'm also sleeping, both of us are at risk. We are going to be victims of road crash or die. So in fact, you shouldn't be sleeping whilst traveling. Yes, the passenger, you are allowed to sleep, in a while, a bit. But you always have to be awake, because the driver is a human being just as you and I, and he's culpable. He could sleep, he could sleep because he's human. He has other economic or family or marital problems that will make him to be worn out one way or the other. So on the road, you help the driver to drive, and you speak to the driver politely. Let me use that word, politely, to the driver that maybe you are sleeping.
So it's often a challenge in commercial transport. You do agree the driver-passenger relationship, if we should.
You see, sometimes we are impatient. We promote what we call the quote. And the last T, the quote, the T is tolerance. Tolerance for both sides. Okay. You need to be very tolerant with the way the driver is driving and the way you approach in speaking to the driver. And the driver needs to also be very tolerant, very patient in accepting what you are saying, so that the two of us, or the two of you, the driver, the passenger, will have that cohesion in driving for you to arrive alive or stay alive. You understand? Because if the driver and passenger do not understand each other, trust you me, and that's where curses come in. And then the driver think that he has been cursed by a passenger, and so you can't drive with anger. And you have to make sure you become very, very tolerant with everybody on the bus so that you can make the journey safe.
Let's talk about the transport unions themselves too, and their responsibility in pushing that safety campaign. It appears that for them, it's just the profit motives and not necessarily the concerns about safety on the roads.
In fact, the National Road Safety Authority, I think the compliance department, they are about to publish a report on compliance and then inspection, which they have other things in place that they are coming to promote. Commercial drivers these days, or institutions, transport institutions like the Metro Mass and then STC and then VIP, they are the institutions they are looking at to promote what you are saying. Without that, they themselves cannot say that they are driving safe. And they have to promote safety on our roads, because trust me, you and I are not on the road all the time. They are the one on the road all the time. And so safety must be a priority for them.
So you support the audit?
Yes.
So what? And the question has always been about the mode of the audit and how it should be done in such a way that you don't affect their business operations as well.
We need to regulate their business. And see, humanity is in between the two. Whether you are making profit or you're not making profit, we have lives at stake. And so we need to audit you to know if you are doing the right thing or not, to know where we are going and where we can now adjust the systems to move to the next level. So for me, I support it.
How smooth will that implementation be, for instance? For instance, if you look at the Greater Accra region, the trotro has been a major source of transportation for many. These vehicles have one defect or the other. So enforcing that will be a difficulty.
But we cannot continue to check or handle our safety.
Is it really feasible? And I guess that's the question. Feasibility, the concern about feasibility. That's the bigger concern.
We have to start from somewhere, or else we will be in trouble. You see, like you are saying, there are most cars on the roads that are not in good shape, and it's not good enough for people to even board those cars. We need to try in a way to get them off, But I believe that whatever they are bringing, there will be a policy that is going to, shield some parts for everybody to kind of fall in place with whatever they are bringing,
Let's look at government policy as well. How do we refine it to help that drive safe agenda?
See, where we are today, even the UN supports road safety, and so government, whether government like it or not, government will have to come in with policies that is going to promote safety on our roads. And whatever government tries to bring on board for safe driving or safety on our roads, we all need to support it. We all need to support it, and government must see it as a priority, because if road crashes is the third for the world, in Ghana is first. Road crashes is even killing more than COVID. And look at the effort we've put in to make sure COVID is kept. What effort are we putting in by government? What policy are we putting in? What support are we giving to the custodians of safety, the National Road Safety Authority, to promote safety, to save life? If COVID has come to help us save life, I believe that acid 19, I call it acid 19, we should also have policies that would enforce, the safety on our roads.
But where do we start from? The priority, I guess.
We are living in a country where if we say we are going to look at politics, we are going to be in trouble. But I think, in my personal view, we must start from somewhere. Right. As a pastor, let me put my pastoral side in it. Right. We are into saving life. I'm a shepherd, and I don't think that I want my sheep, to go astray and to go dying or to be contracting any disease. So as a leader, whom you love your country so much, policies in place that will help humanity within your circles, you need to bring it up and need to push it. We need a strong arm of government that will say, this is the policy I'm bringing. We must support it. Posterity would always award you or reward you for what you're doing today. But if you're looking at people who would talk about what you are bringing today, you cannot do anything at all.
And one thing you've been indicating to me prior to our conversation now is that there's a need for us to open up the system and to allow experts from non-profit agencies and civil society groups to join that collective effort. How do you feel we could be approaching that from the perspective of the accident support?
You see, over the years, we have been thinking about prevention, and everybody have an idea of how to prevent road crashes. But we have forgotten that, or we have denied ourselves as a country that there are human beings involved. We have over 15,000, even 1,000 people getting injured. Some are normal injuries, some are major injuries, some are very, heavy or major injuries, that could lead to death. So we need to partner. We need to have policies to look at the post-crash of these accident victims, because we need to have their life to stay, to have hope to live again. So if government are not allowing us, because government cannot have they don't have the think tanks, we have people who are thinking outside the box, like accident victim support for these years, 13 good years. We have been advocating for support for victims. We have been promoting road safety. We have partnered with the National Road Safety. You can see how we're still alive. Right. To partner with all stakeholders to push. But our agenda is that where we are going right now, since we cannot curb completely the road crashes, let's find a way to support the victims, humanity, the people who are involved. And that's where we are calling on government. We are appealing to government that we have a lot of road crash victims who are suffering unjustly. They never called for it. So fine, if we cannot compensate everybody completely. No, but one way or the other, if we have that kind of government-private partnership, we can at least help the National Road Safety to take up the victim side, to take care of the victims and see how best they are reintegrated back into society without they victims thinking that government
How many victims have you supported so far?
Over 100. Over 100. As I talk to you now, I went to Kumasi over the Easter to support victims of 9th March, victims that got burnt beyond recognition, that I went to bury. 25 victims. And they have never been given their compensation. They've never had anything. Now, one of the children of the burnt victims called me and said, my mother visits me in my dream to ask, so won't you come and see where I was even buried? This is psychology, and they need that psychological, counseling to be able to come out of it. So I told her I'm coming to Kumasi to donate to them. There are about 5 of them I met with, and I have given them a date where I will take them to where they were buried in Kintampo. So at least they can have closure with their mom, who they never saw, they never picked anything from.
And I guess, because we don't have much time, I guess individuals as well can join that cause, support
exactly,
you as well.
Exactly.
How do they reach
Thank you very much. Anyone who is touched to support us, and I thank God for Safe Drive campaign, which we need to drive safely. Yes, it's one of the best. And multimedia, you are one of the best that we are promoting this thing. Greetings to Seth Kwame Boateng, who is my friend. So 0246 869214. That's my personal number, 0246 869214. Tomorrow we're visiting Asin South to support 6 children who crashed, and there's only one who was left. We need to go and talk to them and then bring them out. So anybody want to support us can call on me, and then we are going to help.
Reverend Cyril Crabbe, I'm grateful that you've joined us here on the podcast.